Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Mrs. M. And if you haven't, make sure you click the link below to subscribe to my channel. That way you receive all the information on what you need to do to not miss out on growing your cleaning business to six figures and beyond. So I've got a couple of things I wanted to share. One of my students wanted to know which one is better, having employees or subcontractors. I've used both. I've used employees and subcontractors, and it depends on if they're really a subcontractor or if they're an actual employee. Now, I know a lot of you probably are tempted because you definitely do save a lot of money when you have employees that are masquerading as subcontractors. So actually, one of the things you want to ask yourself when you're trying to decide if you want to have subcontractors or employees, which one is better, which one's going to save you more money, depends on several things. One, the job, the project. I know I've had professional floor companies that have come in and work for me when I didn't have a floor crew. And they're charging quite a bit of money as opposed to me paying an employee something like, maybe $15, $16, $17 an hour, depending on, how skilled they are. So if you want to know which one is better, look at what you have available to use before you're subbing it out. How much control do you need over the project? Is it that you're doing a post-construction and you're in the final clean? And now if you're doing a post-construction, that could be tricky because post-construction is one of my favorite projects. I love post-construction. One of the ways we grew our business was starting out in post-construction cleaning. There's a lot of it out there. Depending on where you are, you can make a lot of money. Now, there are several different areas when it comes to post-construction cleaning. You can do the pre, you can do the post, you can do the final. Those are needed. You can do the rough, but you've got to understand what you're doing because there are a lot of things you can mess up when it comes to post-construction cleaning that can be quite expensive. But when it comes to that, if you have a subcontractor that you can work together with, and I would highly suggest that you partner up with a construction company. If they have 3, even 5 or 6 project managers and you get one, that one project manager can have you doing quite a few construction cleanup. I mean, you can really make out. So post-construction is one of my favorite things. I love to include that with the regular cleanups when it comes to contract jobs, because sometimes with post-construction, you cannot get a contract unless you're fortunate to get one of the construction companies to really believe in you because you've done a serious job every time you go. A lot of times also, their budget is higher than what you would imagine. So what we would do is once we built the relationship with them, it took maybe about a year for us to really build a relationship where they called us for all their construction cleanup. They would tell us what their budget was, and it was usually $5,000 to $6,000 more than what we would have bid it. Now, in that situation, I use employees and subcontractors. I like using both. Sometimes the subcontractors have equipment or certain things, like if you need one of those real large trash bales, trash containers, if you're doing the rough clean, that can be really expensive if you don't use it all the time. Or if you're looking at doing windows and you need the extension, because you do need a different type of insurance if you're doing the extension for the actual windows as opposed to, I think it's 3 stories. 3 stories. You usually don't need anything different, and you can just get one of those regular squeegees with an extension that you can do. But if you're doing something really professional with scaffolding and a lot more that's involved, I always say try not to be scattered. Try to specialize. If that's not your lane, then don't get in that lane because you're going to spend more money learning. The actual learning curve to learn something is sometimes not worth as opposed to paying someone unless it's something you want to do on a regular basis. Getting equipment and learning just so that you can do that one job may not be worth it. So if you have your partnerships that I talk about, go on to manta.com, MANTA.com. They've got a lot of companies near you, windows, carpets, partner with individuals that are not your competition, but your complement. So you can use them for subcontracting. They'll be 1099s and you won't have to pay the taxes and the workman's comp on them. But do your due diligence and make sure that they are actually insured. There's a way that you can get put on as an additional insurer on their insurance cert. So if they cancel their insurance, which we had some of our subcontractors do, you wouldn't know about it. But if you're listed as an additional insured, it may be a little bit more for them, but it's worth it for you to make sure that you're covered. So if you're using subcontractors, you want to have an agreement that they do not compete against any of the work. They have to deal directly with you and not any of your customers, because that's a concern. You have to make sure that you guys both agree with the price so there's no problems. Have the statement of work or scope of work really laid out so there's no question. Have when you're going to pay them, which is normally net 30. That's the advantage of using a subcontractor. So you're not having to pay out the money like a payroll. And then also make sure that you can work together. You have some subcontractors that think they know everything and you think you know everything and you both think you know everything. So you're not going to get along. And the whole part is building the foundation and the partnership. Also, if it's really a sub, they're going to have their business license, their own equipment. That is how you tell the difference. What the IRS uses the difference between a subcontractor and an employee. And if they are an employee, in most states, you have to report them within 20 days of hiring them. You have to report new hires. So you're really running a tight race if you have an employee, but you're treating them like a sub, you're paying them under the table, and you're doing a 1099 when they're really actually W-2, filling out that W-4 instead of the 1099. Ask yourself, is it worth it? Most times the answer is no. If they get hurt, if they want to file for unemployment, any of that, if they are actually if they're actually employees and not subcontractors, you could find yourself in a world of hurt. I'm telling you from experience, because I don't think there's anyone that probably hadn't been there when they've had a friend and they want to, okay, come work with me for a couple of jobs. And the next thing you know, they're with you for a while and then they get hurt on the job and now they can't go to their full-time job. And they're looking at you like, okay, what are you going to do? So sub employees both have a place. Just make sure you do it the right way. And if you want to learn more about subbing and subcontracting and employees and how to set up your front office and your back office and how to really, really market and get 10 times more employees or more customers and employees in the whole thing, 10 times more of everything, then make sure you join me for my masterclass. It's a live masterclass. We have a great time. You have to do one thing, though. You have to bring the pen and paper because you're going to be able to take a lot of notes and implement that as soon as you get off the computer. You put everything away, you're going to be able to implement it right away. So if you're interested in all of that, how to market, get 10 times more customers, how to do retargeting for ads so you show up on your prospects' computers, then make sure you join me for my live masterclass. You can click the link below to register. That way you can be there and have a great time. Bring the energy. I'm an energy person, so bring it. And you can ask questions. After the presentation, we do a Q&A and we ask all kinds of questions and I answer them. So if that sounds like something that would be a great fit for you and you'd like to learn from me, then I'll like to see you. So click the link to register for 10 times more cleaning customers in 30 days masterclass. And until next time, be safe. Have a fantastic evening. Take care. Bye-bye.